Let's look at the ng or the ng sound in English. First of all, the sound. The IPA is like an N with a tail on it. It sounds like ng. And what I'm doing there is lifting the back of the tongue in the back of the mouth. The front of the tongue is down, and my tongue is either touching against my teeth, or it's inside of my teeth. The most important thing is it's sealing off this airway to the mouth, and the air is going up through the nose. So when I say no air is escaping from my mouth, all the resonance is happening in the nose, and my voice is on. There's vibration here. We often spell this sound with letters ng. That's the most common spelling for the sound. But there's also some cases where it's spelled with just letter N, so let's talk about that difference. Typically, ng at the ends of words is always going to say the sound. So words like sing, doing, going, all those ing verbs and words that end with ng, even words like hang or rung. Doesn't have to be ing. When the letters ng come at the end, they're typically going to say the sound, and you want this tongue position. The other spelling is sometimes it's spelled with letter N. So in a word like think, this letter N is not saying the n sound, but rather the sound. I'm not saying thin and then lifting my tongue in the back, think. Rather, I'm lifting here for the ng, think. It's really just the same as the word thing plus a K sound. So sometimes the letter N stands for just the n, and in a few words it'll stand for the sound. Same thing in finger. We have the letters ng here, but we have a g sound. So letter N is what makes the sound, finger. Same thing in hunger. We have an ng sound and a g sound. So sometimes it's hidden in there with just letter N. Often it's an ng. You just have to know which words say finger with an and a g, or hanger. So sometimes ng in the middle is just ng with no g. Hanger. Hanger, not hanger. This brings me to common errors that happen for this sound. The most two common errors are, number one, people will just say an n sound rather than an ng sound. So you might be trying to say working or shopping, and it comes out more like workin' or shoppin'. In that case, what's happening is the front of your tongue is lifting, like the n sound. So you want to avoid that. And then for the other common error is that you'll add an extra little k or g sound. So you're trying to say doing, and it sounds like doing or doing. That error happens because if I don't leave my tongue lifted, if it drops down, doing, you can hear that's how I make that little g or k sound. So I need to leave my tongue here as my voice is going on, doing, and keep the tongue up and finish making the sound. If my tongue comes down, I may have a little tiny k or g. That's the sound that gets made as my tongue drops down and air comes back into the mouth. So the air should just be in the nose, doing, going, going in, doing it. Really work on blending those sounds together so that you can keep that sound going. Otherwise, you'll end up with doing it or going in with an extra g or k sound. So those are the two common errors, adding an extra sound or having the tongue too far forward, and doing an n. Lastly, let's look at some contrasts for these errors. So if your error is that you tend to say doin' instead of doing, try practicing contrasts like thin, feeling your tongue go forward, and thing, feeling your tongue go back, or done and dung. You can also just try to intentionally put a little k sound on, like sing, and then leave that back off, sink, sing. If you tell yourself, I'm saying the word sink, your brain, your tongue is going to cooperate and go into that ng position, and then just leave the k off. Sink, sing. So that's also a technique for if your error is adding the extra sound. You can also do these kinds of contrasts. First say think, and then say it without the K, thing. Say dunk, and then without the K, dung. So these types of N versus NG, NG versus NGK contrasts can be helpful in correcting those errors.